I guess I don't keep on living how I did before. Every day just waking up feels like I'm at war. Every time I turn a page, I'm scared of what's in store. All the pages torn, change I can't afford. I can't take it, I won't make it back. The future lays ahead, but who can tell if it'll last? 'Cause when I look for it, I only see the broken past. Why am I so attached? I'm burning with a match. Fuck off, wanna take me for a ride, but I won't let him. So cold like an ice pick through the heart, but I won't sweat it. Lost cause, wait a lifetime for the dark, then it's all better. I guess Peter Pan is right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day. I guess Peter Pan was right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day. I guess Peter Pan was right, going on to wasted time. So I think I'll run away, thinking about it every day.
The Morning Fix live radio show will begin shortly. For your best news coverage and commentary, tune in daily at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Morning Fix. The Morning Fix live radio show will begin shortly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Fix live radio show. I'm Macho. It is 10:06 Eastern Standard Time here in New York City, 9/28/2022. It is 60 degrees, nice and fall and chilly outside. I am back. I'm here. I was struggling yesterday. It was a little off, a little tired, but I'm back, and so is Keisha. What up?
Good morning.
How we doing today? You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. How are you? My dog.
Do we
is
have?
Sam.
What's your dog's name?
Creed,
Creed, like the boxer.
like Apollo Creed.
Like Apollo Creed. Like, is there any reason why you named him Creed? Just out of
because my
curiosity.
son named him and his dog is Apollo.
Apollo Creed. Got it. Got it. I like that. I like that. That's awesome. All right, let's say good morning to everybody. Let's be nice. Let's act like we have manners.
Okay, but wait a minute. Did I see Savory?
Savory's here. I was just about to highlight that. Good morning, Mr. Savory. How you doing? How was he went on his vacation. Nice, beautiful vacation to
Wow.
Greece. He's over there showing off with his lady and he's having a good time over there. I'm
That's
proud of him.
amazing. I
Yes,
missed that
yes.
face. Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Savory. And also a happy, well, they were celebrating their wedding anniversary as well. So it was a vacation, also their wedding
Oh,
anniversary,
happy anniversary.
along as well compounded with a delayed honeymoon. So they deserved it.
That's awesome.
They deserved it.
That's
So
awesome.
congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Savory.
Yes.
Good morning, Heather. How are you?
Morning, Heather.
Kai, as always.
Hey, hey.
And it's not just me who built this. There's a whole bunch of us who came
Shh,
together, and the TikTok
listen,
crew also came up with the name with us. So it was a collective effort.
look.
So
We know who the real talent in this space is. It's not AJ.
good morning, Snowman, and good morning, Katie. How are you? Ted, good morning. We have Mandy in the building.
Good
Mandy,
morning, good morning, good morning.
how was the trip, Mandy? Just want to know if did you guys make it? Did you guys make it safely?
Shoot, it's a blessing they got out when they did.
Oh man, isn't that like
Yes.
wow? Nanny Shanny, good morning. I don't.
Good
I think
morning.
I've seen Nanny Shanny the last time. I don't know if she's consistent.
Good morning.
Well, good morning nonetheless, Nanny. And we're all familiar with this person. We're all familiar.
Oh, yes,
Good
we know who
morning,
that.
Brian. Good morning,
Good
Brian.
morning, Brian.
Here it is. See, he's clarifying. Honeymoon was great. He had a great time. Thank you very much, Savory. Thank you.
Love Avery.
Um,
Where's Barracuda?
ti- tiring, but yes, yeah. That's a great point. Maybe I should share this into the or someone tap on her because she's usually here every day. So now that makes me worried. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a lot to cover today, Keisha, and I really want to get you fired up today on some of these topics. And I'm hoping for some raw responses. I'm talking about let's dive right into it.
Let's
In
do
the
it.
spirit of TikTok, I want to ask you, does debate really exist in the realm of TikTok?
No,
Why not?
because it's not even organized or structured.
There is none. And you know, a lot of it tends to get pretty personal pretty quickly.
Yes, it's essentially my opinion is this, your opinion is that. It's
And
not actually debating.
and for everybody in the chat, I want to know because a lot of you come from TikTok. So a lot of you from in the chat, I would like for you to type in, do you think TikTok is a realm and a space for real debates? You guys could put up a thumbs up if you say it is, thumbs down if you don't think so, if you agree with both of us. Any other reason why it's not a place with debates?
Well, I first of all, there's no real moderator, right? So there's like no one in there that has some real structure of what debating actually is and what it looks like. So there's no way to keep it moving forward, right? It's just I feel X, you feel Y, and you just keep beating it down. And then we get to these yes or no questions, right? It's just not how real debating works. I don't think people have really actually watched a true debate. That's why they have
Yeah,
debating teams. You know what I mean?
you know, and to be honest with you, other than not moving the conversation forward, who brings the conversation back? Right? You
Correct.
would need that third party to bring the conversation back. But Keisha, why do these conversations generate so much numbers? I mean, just the other day, actually, just this morning, Murphy was actually having a fake one-on-one discussion with Dee Dee. I don't
Mhm.
know her entire handle, but Murphy, if you guys are not familiar with him, he has an interesting point of view. but I've gotten a chance to talk to his mother, and she sounds more conservative than Murphy, but she does support Murphy's, you know, approach and how he handles his conversations. I've heard her, I've heard him, and she's very strong. She reminds me a lot of somewhat of you, Keisha, just kind of how strong and direct she is. She's like really, really sharp with her tongue, and she doesn't really beat around the bush. She doesn't circulate. She just gets right to it. But I don't always agree with her conclusion, but
Right.
it's raised her son in a strong way, and I'm very happy to see him. And I every time, even though I disagree with him, I actually like him, so I don't run away from hearing his lives. I actually listen to him. Anyways, he had a back and forth discussion with Didi this morning, not a debate, over what is the difference between xenophobia and racism,
Mm-hmm.
and they go back and forth over it. And there was not really any structure. It was wild. It was rampant, and that generated almost 1,000 people in that live just this morning. We're talking about almost 5:30, 6:30 in the morning.
So TikTok deems it to be argumentative, hostile. It'll pull the numbers. I mean, people sleeping pull 10,000.
Oh
So
my
it's
god.
so it's a very I don't believe when I see those numbers, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think that the numbers are really that high. Really. I don't think there's really 4,000 people in any live. I don't think there's 10,000 people watching someone sleep. I think it's like bots. So the way to push the conversation onto the FYP, there's got to be numbers, right? So
Right.
TikTok deems like if you start to raise your voice in a live, if you ever notice whenever we've done a live and we
Mhm.
start to raise our voice or get a little confrontational, we're not laughing and giggling, the numbers just start going do 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 do, and before you know it, you have 1,500 people in a live. The
Yeah.
very first live I did way back when, this guy came in to tell me about how unblack I was. Before I knew it, I had 3,000 people in a live where I couldn't even have 8. And
Wow.
once I hit the 3K, the lives just from there on, if I start to raise my voice or anyone in my live does, the numbers will start to go.
Wow.
That's how it works. So you're never gonna get the numbers being like calm, like, oh yeah, really? Oh. So if you go into like lives, debates, and you see there's a couple hundred people in there, everyone's talking normal. So I mean, the rant room, we've had 1,000 people, but
Yeah.
we get those people. I mean, shit, we've had 3,000 people in the rant room.
Yes, you have. Yep.
But when we get those numbers, it's at some point we were confrontational in that discussion. The rant room just on its own is 2 to 500 people just laughing and whatever, right?
I will say and give credit to it is an algorithmatized
Yes,
situation, but when AJ wears his hat, it
yes,
immediately triggers people.
yes.
And
The
I
trolls
mean,
start
I've
coming in.
seen him. Yeah, I've seen him just sit there
Hmm.
and just getting started, playing his music,
Yes.
the whack music, the whack song that we all love.
Hmm.
Let's get it started. So he's just
Yeah.
there, ready, getting ready, has the background all red, has the hat on, the MAGA hat on, and immediately, just off the first 5 minutes, he's got about 1,000 people in there.
And even if you
Uh,
look at the topics too, like if you have these confrontational topics, same thing
yeah,
happens. So that's why I think a lot of it is bot driven. That's why when you look at the people who are making these crazy comments, they're like, you know, 0 followers, 2 you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's not real. TikTok does that for to keep people there, right? So if you think you can go live on TikTok and have 5,000 people, why would you leave it? You think there's 5,000 people listening to your nonsense when the
That's the
reality
part of the addictive quality, is what you're saying. Yeah.
yes, that's why
Yeah,
they do
I
it.
agree. Because once people start to really see those numbers, they're like, "Oh man, something's got to be happening here."
Right, so, like,
Uh,
if you think about it, what's the first thing you hear when someone does a big live? "Oh, I had 3,000 people, I had 5,000 people, there was 6,000 people in my live." Who gives a fuck?
yeah, yeah.
How many of those people how did you offer anything to anyone? So but you see what I'm saying, the mentality is here. The mentality is the numbers, it's always been the numbers. "Oh, I have 10,000 followers, I have 5,000 followers, I have 25,000 followers." Every time someone gets banned, they tell you how many they got banned at, who gives a damn?
Yeah, and the numbers is part of like that herd mentality. Like, let's herd everybody into this one group. But
Yes.
the thing about me is, if they really wanted to generate that kind of attention, then why ban the host? If what is it about the like if something's getting chaotic, which obviously the bots, the algorithm, everything, and people, I think I'll give it a half to half ratio. For every one person there's a bot, right? So I'm going to give a half to half ratio, or
Okay.
maybe a 2 to 1 ratio. For every one person there's two bots.
Okay.
Why then dismantle and ban the host, and then furthermore hinder the host from going live with a punishment or restriction?
Okay, so what I've noticed in these lives, the ones that are the most controversial, but we're not talking about any statements of fact. So you're talking race, you're
Mm,
talking about the morning fix and his bullshit, you're talking about inked and she's a bitch. Those are the lives that never go down.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
But if you are the live that we're getting into it and we're speaking fact and we're talking about um, things that are transpiring really in life, you're coming down.
right.
You're coming down.
Yeah, and if obviously if you're going against the grain that TikTok is already thriving off of, like think of some of the biggest creators, the ones that you mentioned last week that are making millions of dollars.
Yes.
They're not so controversial, but yet they're building these trends and they're being malleable. Like they're like, oh, they're pushing the narrative that I guess
But
TikTok
Is
wants.
TikTok is money driven also, right? So the lives that people gift a lot in, those lives never come down.
Right.
Good morning, Glow. Yeah.
Good morning, Glow.
Those lives never come down. So where people are gifting, that's why all these battles, it's very rare you see their lives come down. And generally, if a battle live comes down, it's because they're being hated on by somebody else.
That's a great point. So if money is being spent in the live
Yes, the
and you
lives
have all
very
those
rarely
people,
come down.
you're not gonna take it down. That makes
No,
sense. Because I've even seen
no.
Genchi have some very, very controversial lives. We're talking about beyond hatred. I mean, saying some really incendiary stuff that normally TikTok would ban for me, but TikTok bans me and company, not just me. I'm not
Oh
making this
yeah.
personal,
Oh
but
yeah.
for just some of the simplest things, and I'm just have calm demeanor. But usually
Well,
when yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Keisha.
but also when you think about it too, like we can use I can drop 5 F-bombs and get banned, right?
Hmm.
But realistically, what's wrong with the F-bomb, right? I can say whatever I want. It's my live, right? You go into someone's live like Genty, they're literally using racial slurs. They're usually telling they're like literally saying white people do not speak in black people's spaces. Like literally, that's what they're saying in the live. Like, why are you like people can come in the comments, why are you speaking white lady? This is a black person space. Are you serious right now?
Excellent point.
But
Excellent
you know what
point.
else is about Genty? You want to hear something crazy?
What's
His
that?
life can go down, he comes back immediately.
Well, he's an ambassador now at this point,
Goes
from what I'm
down,
gathering.
it goes down, comes back immediately. As soon as the live goes down, it comes right back. He just goes right back live. He doesn't get any suspensions. The live
Yeah.
is banned, comes right back.
Well, there's a difference though, Keisha. When you're an ambassador to any social media platform, you're not
Yeah.
going to have a long term suspension because that is bad revenue for the platform.
He
So
has
you have
no suspension, Macho, 0 suspension. Nothing.
yeah.
The live goes down, he immediately comes back. I had my first 7-day ban. You know why I got a 7-day ban? Because twice in one day I cussed out the same person. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? I guess this is a new watcher here. Thanks for tuning
Hello.
in.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Yeah.
And
So
that's on the for all you who are tuning in, we have a Facebook page called The Morning Fix. You guys can follow, like, post, whatever it is you want, so long as it's not out of this world crazy, right? So just
yes.
you can post stuff there, and we could have our discussions there. So be sure to check out the Morning Fix Facebook page as well. We also have a YouTube channel, Morning Fix Live Radio Show. You can type that in the search engine, as well as you guys. Most of you are on Twitch, and that's good. And you guys can continue commenting while we're discussing, so that you guys can also build up the visibility in the channel as well. The more activity from you, more we know that we're doing a good job in stimulating conversation. So right now we're just talking about the real idea, or is there a space for real debates, or does TikTok want that? Does any social media platform want that? And
No, TikTok doesn't want it.
I would
TikTok
say
doesn't
to
want it.
some extent, I would say TikTok doesn't want structured debates, but
No.
I think to some extent other platforms thrive off it, like YouTube,
Yeah.
Twitch thrives off of hard conversations, but no one really wants to leave outside of TikTok unless you pay them. And which I think, it's fair to say the
Well,
least, right?
okay. So in TikTok, you can be monetized right now, like sitting there talking, right? People could monetize you just for breathing. You're not getting that here.
For breathing
What? It's true.
or showing feet.
I mean, if you really think about like, if you, especially like in the middle of the night, if you scroll TikTok, the nonsense that's going on and people are like throwing lions, like what's happening right now? I just had a whole conversation with a friend yesterday, and last year he spent $17,000 on TikTok gifting
Wait,
people.
I'm sorry. What?
17 G's.
Oh my goodness. What in that is a lot of money.
Yeah, battling. So people were battling, and he was throwing gifts in battles. And then I said, "Well, how much would you get from that?" He said, "Oh, I probably got about 1,500 back." I said, "Oh, is that right?" I said, "Go ask one of those people that you spend all that money on right now for $2,000. Let me know how it works out for you."
Yeah, you're not gonna have
So
any traction on that.
just
I
imagine
mean,
he spent 17 grand. He alone spent $17,000. What are these other people spending? The people who are barely holding on to their homes are spending this kind of money on TikTok. Do you think for 1 second
well,
that
there's gotta be a reason why people are throwing their monies at stuff, right? Remember,
you know
like,
why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you
why
why.
is that?
We
Why?
experienced it, right? You ready? Oh, thank you, Macho. Thank you. You're a part of the Inked family.
Oh, okay. So
You see? So people are lonely,
have
right? They
that
don't have friends,
connection.
and there's like this
Right.
connection that people found on TikTok through the pandemic and things like that, right?
Right.
So think about for TikTok, the billions of dollars TikTok is making right now. So they're double dipping, they're coming in and out. Like you buy the coins, you give it to someone, and then they take 67% of those coins, right?
Mhm.
So why in the earth would people not push that, right? So if you go into a live, someone's making 50K a week minimum. Why would you leave TikTok? And you know what you did? You know what you did for $50,000? You ready for it? You sat on TikTok all day and you said, "Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, Macho coming in with the roses."
Unless your eye speak and Genchi and all these other ones, they just get on a live and I just see people throwing gifts at them. Like it's incredible.
Genty gets on a live and says, "Oh, thank you, Macho, for the Cash App. Oh, thank you, Savory, for the Cash App. Oh, thank you, F250 for the Cash App." That's what Genty does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
wish I was that bitch.
I'll tell you
I'll
one
tell you one
thing.
thing.
If you guys want to donate, you can, but I mean, I would much rather you guys get the merch that we are pushing on the Morning Fix on on the AJ's
Barracuda.
rant room.
There she
AJ's
is.
rant room. Barracuda will hold on for a second. We'll get to Barracuda. But yeah, you guys could donate. Feel free. Or I much rather you go on to AJ's rant room, ajsrantroom.com, and get your Morning Fix t-shirt, get your Morning Fix mug. Let's all come together. When we're watch this show, we can take a picture, we can salute together with our mug and have a great time with that. Or if you feel led to donate, you can, because there is time that we do a lot for planning all of this and to have this kind of, it's not just on a whim, not like, not everybody's like Genchi. You can just get on the live and says, well, I need a new mic, Keisha, and he gets a new mic, right?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, though. I think it's really important that people understand. I did not Barracuda. Info at inked34.com is the
I
email. I
got it.
can just send it there. Um, if not, hit me up on TikTok and we'll go from there. My thing is this, is that, in fact, I'm just gonna get like a business line, a number that I could just say out loud. That way people can just call me or text me, whatever.
I would
And
love to have this like an actual radio show. Like if
I'm gonna actually do that today. I'm just gonna add a line, and then I could just say the number, and if it gets out of control, it doesn't matter. I can just change it. But what I was gonna say is that there's a humility to this, right? And so if you prey on your followers and you make them feel bad because you're in a bad way, guess what they'll do? We have really good people who will help. So let's just be clear on how this works, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I have some followers that are fire. They support anything and everything I do. They're like stupid amazing, right?
Yeah, so do I.
Like it's insane how supportive they are.
Yep.
And I appreciate them as individuals. I promise you right now, if I went live and started crying and was like, I'm gonna lose my toenail and I need $5,000 to save it, I would have 10. And let's just keep it 100.
Yeah.
So if I was just a vindictive, manipulative trash of a person, I would use the emotions of my followers to get what I wanted. A new car, a new house, a new whatever. I could battle and if I did it regularly and weekly, I probably would be making 100K a week. Why on God's green earth would I be taking people's hard-earned money when I know people are struggling? I know people are giving us their last. Why would I do that?
That's something that bad organizations do, like really bad churches.
Yes.
They
Yes.
prey on people. Yeah.
Yes, they prey on your emotions, right? And
Yeah.
that's what this is. So why would I leave TikTok when I can make $50,000 a week doing nothing? And you talk about debate, I don't need to debate. I could just scream, holler, and yell.
With that mug in your hands, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a nice mug.
Straight from Ireland. It's my
All
favorite.
right. So who's excited to see Keisha get fired up this morning? Because she's calm right now.
Let's do it.
But I promise you, if there's anyone who knows how to get Keisha fired up, it's this guy. So I'm gonna bring up some topics, and I'm telling you right now, I already know Keisha's gonna get fired up with this next video, and especially you will too, because it got to me. This was a debate, if we want to call it that, Keisha. This was a debate
Here we go.
on the Young Turks. Are you familiar with that channel, the Young Turks? Anna Kasmirian, I think her name
I'm
is.
sure it's not gonna matter at this point.
You hear her already, guys? You hear her?
It's not gonna
Anyways, this is a very liberal group, and
matter. My stomach already hurts.
he's look at the same. He's like, "Don't play it, don't play it,
My
don't
stomach
play
hurts.
it, don't do it. Step off the ledge." Anyways, this is Dennis Prager is now having, which in my opinion, at the core of this, Keisha, I'm
Yeah.
happy to see this because this needs to happen more often, and we're gonna get into the why this needs to happen more often with a later clip. Let's check this out. Let's get Keisha fired up this morning.
Putting words in your mouth. To show video of something you said just yesterday on the Dennis Prager show that I thought was fascinating. So let's take a look at that and we'll discuss.
There we go.
The computer sticker phenomenon is crazy. It was actually one of the biggest shocks
What does
I
that
had.
mean? What does that mean?
On your computer right here, people, instead of just having a blank back,
Oh, I see.
they would
have
put
messages.
yes. It would either
And
be
what was the common message?
I heart women or just the female sign, you know, the circle and
Wait,
the arrow.
I heart women on a woman's computer?
Yes.
All of this is proof to me that women need men. These women are manless. They may have hookups, but they're manless. And they might have been fatherless too. Ending with my generation, I would say, ending with the baby boomers, but certainly through then, a young woman thought a lot about, do I have a boyfriend? Mm-hmm. What will my wedding be like? What will I wear? Who will be there? Who will the guy be? That I believe is healthy and normal for a young woman. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. That has been knocked out by the feminist left.
So I'm just playing this for context, right? So this is pretty much Anna Kasfirian has an issue with this, so she's playing this clip, obviously edited. So, but for the sake of the back and forth that they're about to have, she plays this clip in front of him and this is kind of her issue towards him. So this is a pretty old clip, but this also doesn't illustrate to us why she's playing this clip. What do you think so far, Keisha? I have a ad coming, so that's why I untethered it. What do you think so far?
And if you think about it, you're a weak female.
Oh, now we're weak.
Do you
Okay.
want to join the six-figure club?
Now we're what?
You can.
No,
We're
he
with
said
an
you're a
LA
weak
tech
woman. I
company
said,
are
oh,
hiring.
okay, now we're weak. I know what he's. I'm just saying. I hear what he's saying. I mean, I get it. I hear. I hear him. But it's cool.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. I want to finish before I act out.
All right, here we
I like
go.
to have all the information before I act a fool.
So fascinating statements there. You seem to believe that women who love themselves, who love women, who feel confident about being women, tend to be manless and lonely. Do you genuinely think that? Do you think I'm manless and lonely? I think women rock.
I said that in general, women need men, and I've said 1,000 times that in general, men need women. The fact that that's controversial is a statement about what's happened to our culture.
But you got triggered by a story about women who have laptop stickers that just say positive things about women. Your mind immediately went to, they might have daddy issues and they're lonely, they need men. I want to understand your thinking. Like,
Okay,
how do you get to
explain
that conclusion?
It's if you had a heterosexual man, with 97% of men are heterosexual, with a sticker "I love men," you would wonder why. Why don't men have stickers "I love men"? But you think it's perfectly normal and a non-issue that women would have stickers "I love women." What is the point of saying that? It is worthy of a question. And I don't think that 50 years ago this would have been, obviously there were no laptops then, but I don't think it would have been a common sentiment. I don't understand why women would need to announce "I love women" if they're not a gay woman. You tell me.
All right, so what do you think, Keisha, about that?
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
He's not
I mean,
hold on a second, Macho. He's not wrong. Not only is he not wrong, I'm going to tell you what bothers me about her. She's trying to make an issue where there isn't one. So she's basically trying to make this man seems like he hates women by the way she forms her question, by the way she digs, right? I'm just trying to understand, why would you immediately go that women have daddy issues because they are, have a sticker that says they love women? I think women rock. You see how she's doing that?
yeah.
That's the problem that I have with it. He's not wrong, right? He said 50 years ago, I'm 48. We didn't discuss pronouns. So his thought process is exactly right. Why, as women, do we need a sticker that says "I love women"? But there's no man that is heterosexual walking around with a sticker that says "I love men."
Yeah, generally, even anecdotally, like around my group of people, I've never seen a man have a sticker on there "I love men." Like I've never.
Because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
This generation right now is like, it's in the next level of ignorance, right? So as a woman, when I say, well, why do you need to say that? We know women rock. We recognize that there's no human being that would be here without a woman. We know we're powerful. What good if I stuck a sticker right now on my MacBook? Guess what? I'd be having a whole lot of women throwing their phone numbers at me.
But is it the same? Is it the same for men as it is for, like, would women assume that you're gay because you have a "I love women"?
No, they wouldn't assume I was gay. They wouldn't assume, but the conversation would be struck, right? They would assume I was liberal, and they would be right.
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, I see that.
I'm curious. What does that signify?
Well, I mean, listen, as an individual who values free speech and freedom of expression, I think that women and men can have whatever laptop stickers they want. And
I feel like liberals and conservatives we agree on the tenets and the principle of free speech, but have weird ending conclusions, right?
I don't even think that's true, Macho. I don't think that that's true. I believe conservatives believe you have free speech. Liberals believe your free speech is based on their feelings and how free your speech will be.
Or where they stand. You have to agree with me in some way.
Yes. If you do not, you're immediately a bigot and a racist and whatever else hateful thing they could say about you.
Right.
So no, that's not a true statement in which you made. Don't do that to us.
So you think she's just antagonizing him with his own
Absolutely.
rhetoric, right? The conservative rhetoric, right?
Absolutely.
All right. I see that.
The reason why there is a difference between men and women in regard to those laptop stickers is because, I mean, when you really think about it, women didn't have the right to vote for a very long time. Women didn't even have the ability to apply for a credit card until the 1970s. There have been equality issues when it comes to men and women.
All right, I want to break that down real quick, Keisha. So I had this conversation the other day with a young person. I don't know what their pronouns were, but I'm going to assume female. Well, excuse me, I'm going to assume male.
Okay.
And this person said to me that women were subservient to men in our past history. And I took the position, not fully, I didn't fully study it, but just off my perception on history and off my understanding of not anecdotal with my mom, my grandmother, and my grandmother's time frame, and listening to my grandfather too. I'm old enough to have lived to see my grandfather before he passed, right? So
Mhm.
I took the position that how do we really know that women were subservient to men? We are assuming that. I don't think that women were subservient to men, despite the fact that they didn't have the right to vote. I think we had different roles. I'm a complementarian. I think men had different roles in society and women had different roles in society, and it was socially acceptable because both sides gave it to some extent culturally some consent. There was consent there until there wasn't, right? When the woman stood up and said, I want my right to vote. So the consent changed once that opportunity rose. I don't know if I'm making sense. Do you hear me what I'm saying there, Keisha?
I hear you.
All right. Am I like I'm pretty much saying that why
Oh, here.
would we ever come to
Here.
the conclusion
Here.
that
Here.
women were subservient to men? Why
I'ma
would
tell
we
you.
ever have that conclusion?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the role of what a woman is and was, they think is weakness. So when you say women didn't have the right to vote, women were voting through their husbands. You think they weren't having conversations at home? You think
I
that
do.
wasn't a discussion? You think they weren't talking about it? Not only that, I'm gonna just say this: I don't mind being subservient to my man. You hungry, baby? Let me cook you something. You thirsty? Let me get you something. What you need, baby? Oh,
But
oh, you know
hold
why?
on, Keisha, how is
Hold
that?
on.
That's not subservience. That's
That's what
not.
they think. That's what when you hear that. When you hear that, that's what they're talking about because women stayed at home. Women took care of the home. Women took care of children. You know who these fools are right now that are saying all this? Oh, women were beneath men. Are these, independent women who don't need men, who think that they should have a career and all that? No, you know what? I sign up for home career. I sign up for stay-at-home wife career. I sign up for I'm a mommy career. I sign up for that career. Thank
Despite
you.
despite Keisha,
Thank
despite the
you.
fact that you are educated, you are a
Yes.
working professional,
Yes.
you still wanted the traditional aspect of
Yes.
the role of a woman.
I stayed home for 5 years with my daughter. When I had my daughter, I stayed home. I didn't work outside the home. I took care of the home for 5 years till my daughter started kindergarten.
Wow.
That mommy role is bomb. Like, that's what I'm here for. I'm cut out for that. Like, I should have had, like, 5 kids. Like, that's me right there. So, like, when I hear this nonsense, "Oh, women didn't have the right to vote." You're stupid. You
But
are
but
ignorant.
my whole thing is that I'm trying to get out there is how does having your right to vote change your status in life? How does it automatically say I'm not of equal stature? And I see that my camera is kind of frozen
Oh,
there.
because they view that as a form of power, right? So they think that like you didn't have a voice, right? So they always go back to women didn't have the right to vote. Oh, women weren't able to get a credit card. We didn't need a credit card. We don't need one today. We still using our men's credit cards. Like
And the men is still paying, right? They're
and the
still
men
paying
are
out the
still
bill.
paying. So like that's the part that's so crazy to me is that you're looking for all this independence and it's all these women, but they're like, I need a man who's independent. I need a man who's this. I need a man who's that. Well, then why do you need that man? You got the right to vote. Shut up.
Right. And yeah, and again, these are materialistic things that doesn't decide where your value is on the
Yeah, but you're
spectrum of
missing the
humanity.
entire point. Women have always run this.
Oh,
Women,
and that was my other point too, was I said uh we're equating, okay, you're talking about the bank account,
yes,
you're talking about the credit card, but do you know that every time a man got paid, the money went to the woman?
right.
And the
And she
person
paid the
responded.
bills.
And yes, and the person responded by saying, "That's not true. The man paid the bills. The man owned the house. The man." I said, "Who told you this?" And this is
Okay,
obviously a younger person. And the only, like I said, the only reason why I know this anecdotally because my grandmother told me this. She
right.
paid the bills. My
Yes.
grandfather had to hand over his check
Hmm.
every time he got paid, twice a month. He worked for the military. First, I think it's the 15th and whatever
The
other day.
30th.
And
The
then
30th.
30th. He would hand over his check and he got the allowance.
Okay, so
And
here,
she paid for everything. She
let me
handled
explain to
everything.
you how it works. Even if the man is paying the bills in the house, let's just say he's sitting down writing the checks, right? It's still a discussion. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that women truly are the power of the house, right? They keep it going. So
Mhm.
when you try to make it about the quote unquote rights of a woman, like I said, you think that women weren't voting. Yes, they might not have been like casting a vote, but do you think they weren't like saying, "Hey, let's talk about this"? Like real true households.
Here's a prime
Exactly.
example right now, even to
Exactly.
this
You
day.
go to
So
work, right.
yeah.
The real true solid home is a team. There is a discussion. Even now as women vote, we're still discussing it with our significant others. So I this old archaic mentality that she's trying to use is a power trip. So it's
Is it even
basically
old? Isn't even is there real credibility to what she's saying? I
no,
argue no,
no,
there is none.
no.
Yeah.
There is she she devalues us. You know why women would put a sticker, "I love women, we rock," is because they're constantly putting us down. She's constantly making us the weaker vessel, constantly, because she's ignorant in her speech, because it sounds good. It
And
sounds
here
good.
here's a prime example of the practicality of complementarianism. Here's how
Yes,
the roles are equal, but
yes,
the roles are different in what they do. She
yes.
says this, "I paid all the bills. My husband was deployed too much and away from home to
To
do
do
it.
it.
I don't even know if he knows what bills we pay monthly." Look at that.
That part. That
He
part.
and he doesn't have to worry because he has his partner,
Taking and you
partner,
know what? And not
equal
only that,
partner taking care of that.
and you know what? Her statement is a very good one. You know why? When she says, "I don't even know if he knows what our bills are." The reason for that is because he's doing what men do. He's deployed, he's working, he's taking care of home, he's out providing, he's not worried about it. All he cares is that you take care of business. And the moment that somebody's calling him on his phone saying, "Hey, this didn't get paid," he's gonna be looking at you like, "Hold up, wait a minute. Now
Uh-huh.
I'm giving you the money. Why you not taking care of it?" He doesn't care. You know why? Because he's a man. See how that works? He's a man.
I'm not saying that paying the bills is a woman job. I'm
No, no,
just
no.
saying that
He's a
what should
man.
what
He's
I would
providing. He doesn't
yeah.
care.
So decide what the role is, execute the role. And
Yeah.
a lot of times relationships fail, Keisha, because the roles are not decided and they're not definitive. They're not like, "Oh, I'll do this, you do that. I'll
How
do
can you
this,
have
you do
no,
that."
Macho, you're missing it. How in today's age can you possibly have a partnership in today, 2022, when women are so independent of men, when women are walking around thinking they're men, when women are walking around acting like men? Women think that because you look to your husband and you say, "Okay, babe, like, what are we gonna do?" And then he says, "We're not buying this car. This is not what's in the best interest of us right now." She thinks that he's selfish. Why can't I have what I want? No, he's doing what men do, and you need to respect that. Men are the head of the household. Women have lost their way. Women, like, we are crazy. We've fallen off the deep end. We've lost our way. Men are supposed to run your house. Like my father will tell you, if your home is out of control, it's the man's fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. That part. Any
Yep.
questions?
You got to wear that. Your house falls apart, you got to take that on the chin. That's just how it is.
Oh my God,
Uh
look who's here.
Yes, I saw
Now,
it.
we're getting a lot better, that's for sure. But first of all, I don't agree that women have laptop stickers that just simply say, I love women. It's probably some sort of empowering statement for women, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't translate to, oh, I'm a lonely, manless person and I should go back to the good old days.
And this is what a debate does, right? He says, I didn't make the generalization that women, which they do, are walking around with these stickers. I'm telling you, I reacted to what she said.
To
The
what she
woman
said.
that she played the
Listen,
video
you know
clip.
what's problem? You know what's wrong with this woman? You ready
She's
for it?
emotional. She's getting
No, no.
emotional.
Well, that's what we do. I mean, Jesus, we're just emotional creatures. We're emotionally retarded. That's what we do. No, but you know why she's upset, right? You know why she's upset? Because it's her. She has that sticker and she's lonely and manless.
Because why else would she be triggered by that, right?
Why else? Why would she be mad? Like if he had said it to me, I would be like, well, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I don't have that sticker on there. I mean, you're not wrong. So I mean, he that's why she's upset. So she's trying to make him seem like he's
That totally fell the comment. What happened? Oh, we lost her. She'll be back, folks. And as a matter of fact, on that note, we'll be back. Let's take a quick break. All right, we're back here on the Morning Fix Live radio show. We just had some technical difficulties, but we fixed it. And also, just so you know, the merch is out now. It has been dropped. It's released. Go on ajsrantroom.com. Go and get your Morning Fix t-shirt. Go and get your Morning Fix mug. It is out now, right now on the website. Go and get it now. All right, we're back. We're back.
We're back. Damn
We're
technology.
back.
See,
It's
that's
all
why I
good.
need to use my phone. Because see, you got me over here with all these boxes and cables and things just cutting off.
Don't blame me. All
It's
right,
your
here
Go
we
ahead.
go with more of this. I mean, they call it a debate, but I don't know if we can make that assessment. Here we are.
Right, and we differ on that because the reason that many women, not all, but perhaps most even, are working is not just economic, especially certainly in the upper class, upper middle class, and even part of the middle class. It is because they believe that their self-worth derives more from work than it does from family. If a girl got up in a high school or college class, let's say a professor or a teacher said, so women, I mean, to the extent that they can now say that, because you can't say boys and girls in many elementary schools, because we're told by your side that sex is not binary. But let's say they say, we'd like the women in this class, please stand up and tell us what your vision for your life is. If a girl got up in a college class and said, you know, to be honest, my greatest hope in life is for a good marriage and to make a family, she would be regarded as almost a freak.
Would she?
All right, I want to make this point very clear. She would be regarded as a freak. You guys are going to see why I'm saying that.
What is that based on?
Yes,
What evidence do you have to back that up?
I live in the real world.
So do I.
There was Okay, and you believe that if a girl got up and said that, she would be regarded with the same respect as the girl who said, I'd like to be a physicist?
I believe that most normal people are too busy thinking about how they need to survive and are less concerned about the aspirations of individuals in their classroom.
Need to survive. How do we move that? How do we not stay in the realm there of the conversation? How did we come
She
from?
knows he's right. Macho, you don't answer a question that you know is right. So when he made that statement, she knew he wasn't lying.
Well, she's also tying it to economics, right? I need to survive, so I need
Exactly.
to get a better job.
She didn't answer the question. She said most people are thinking about how to survive. So therefore you can't survive if you're just a stay-at-home mom and, you know, a wife. So what's more important is survival, not
Because what does
creating
that
a family.
reveal? But there's also something I would say that I don't agree with her premise, but she's also hinting at, can we depend on men? And that's a big question today. Are
Okay.
men dependable today?
Okay, but we're not having that conversation right now, are we?
I know, but I'm just saying maybe that's
Oh.
something, the hole in which she could have
Okay.
asked. She could have said, if she was being genuine, she wasn't. She was being argumentative. Your Honor,
Correct.
argumentative, right? So
Yes.
she could have been like, I don't know if we could depend on men like we used to. Now,
Okay.
why can't we depend on men is the question. Maybe that could have
Because
went into a
women like her are raising pretend men.
Why
What?
you had to do it with the finger though? You did it with you pointed at her like she's right here. Like
She is. She's right there.
And so if you have data backing up that women who want to be homemakers are
Data.
persecuted in this country, I'd love to see that data. And I wouldn't agree with that persecution.
Right. What did he say? He never said they'll be persecuted for that stance. He said they'll be seen or regarded as a freak. So now I know where she stands.
Yes.
She's looking at it in a sense of taking it so personal that, oh, they would be victimized or persecuted for wanting to be a trad wife. No, they're not thinking. You look at them as a freak. Why don't you think before you actually take a stance? He's right. He's 100% right, because most modernized women today would say, you can't live like that. You can't depend on a man. That would lead me to what I said. That's another conversation. Why can't we depend on men?
I think it's deeper than that. I think it's about control also, right? Like no woman wants to be controlled. And if she's not making her own money, because that's what's being taught, that she's being controlled.
What they want is control, not to be controlled. They want
to be
the control.
Yes, correct.
Persecuted.
And generally speaking, that's not a male's trait. Men do not want to control.
They don't generally.
Right.
Yeah. Men are simple.
We're drastically simple, right?
No, men are simple. Yeah, extremely.
Right. So I was saying, like, seeing all these thirst traps go and these girls got like thousands of views, millions of views. And I said to my coworker, I said, damn, are we that simple? And he was like, damn right, we are.
Yes. You guys will sit back and watch a bitch clap her ass. I'm just saying.
It's really pathetic, to be honest.
I mean, like the funny part is it's all fictitious, right, on a screen, and you guys are like,
just like that, throwing coins, you know, and then very simple.
Why do you think strip clubs are still a thing? Because men are simple.
And the thing is, and then my friend has to throw it right in my face. You're over there making really deep videos. You're doing nice editing, and I barely tip over 1,000 views. And I was looking at him like, damn, are we that simple? I didn't take it personal. I just looked at it. I said, damn, are we that simple?
That's what remember when I said I'm just going to put tape on my nipples and make videos?
Here we go. Here we go with this. Here we go.
That's your friend.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim. Hey, Kim, you're fired.
I didn't say it.
All I
it
said
seemed to
was
imply that they're being victimized by wanting to be homemakers, and I just don't buy it.
Okay, fine. So good. This is a classic example of what I say on my radio show. I prefer clarity to agreement. You think that a girl who got up in a college class and said my most fervent dream is to have a happy marriage and a family will be regarded with the same respect as a girl who said I would like to be a physician or a physicist. We differ. Perfect.
And that's the one thing that my brother had to teach me the hard lesson on. You don't have to strong arm me to agree with you, but we
No.
can agree that we disagree with each other. Let's be
Yep, agree to
clear that this
disagree.
is where we disagree.
Yeah,
And then we
clear to
just move
disagree.
on. We just move on. You're
The
not going to
problem,
force me.
but here's the problem when you talk about debates on TikTok. This is why they don't work, because everyone's trying to be right. Debating is not right. You're not trying to be right. You're trying to
No.
make statements of fact, right? And so you're trying to
Mhm.
argue these statements like on why your particular direction is the right direction, right? It's not about being right or wrong. Everyone's looking for like trophies.
What's going on today? What is going on today with
Hey,
you
nothing
guys?
wrong with that. Make
I
that money,
swear,
girl.
AJ comes into the chat and he just totally wreaks havoc in here.
Make that money, girls, on these simple men.
Very simple. Too easy. Far
Yep,
too easy,
exchange
man.
of ideas.
We need to do better.
Exchange of
Do
ideas.
better. Do better. All right. Here's
Yeah.
how that fake debate ended. And I thought it was fantastic, Keisha. He
Here we
put
go.
this girl to bed right here.
Conservative of big corporations. I can't stand them. The fact that Disney will not even allow people at their amusement parks to say boys and girls anymore gives you an idea of how sick they have become in the wokeness of this non-binary evil. And that I do believe is evil. To tell little children you don't know if you're a boy or a girl until you decide. Do you think that's healthy?
I think it's unhealthy
it's
to spend
healthy
the
not to
amount of
say
time
boys and
you
girls?
spend in judging decisions that parents make about their own children. I think it's none of your business. I don't think it's anyone's business. And schools are not doing anything.
First and foremost, she's talking over him, but Keisha, he's 100% right when he says it's not the parents who are making this decision. It is Disney and the schools. And no one could deny that. I had a guest on this show by the name of Stephanie. You guys can go back in the videos. I don't know if it's still there, but you guys can check it out. If not, you guys can go on YouTube. It's probably there as well. You can check for yourself how she talked about how her daughter came home and talked about pronouns with her. And
Mhm.
she said, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing talking this language? No, we're not doing that. Stephanie and I are the same age, literally a year apart. And she is talking to her 16-year-old daughter saying, nope, we're not doing that. I am a male. I'm a female, excuse me. And I have tits. I have this. And we're not playing this game. And you are a female as well. And I asked her, is this stuff that you knew she was learning in the school? She said first, no. I only knew of it when my daughter came home and started speaking this language. So did they ask her for permission?
Well,
No, they
first of
didn't.
all, they're not asking anymore. At 16, I think you can give your own consent at this point in school. That's why you have
Seriously?
to. You have to parent your kids. And I know in the state of Washington, you don't need the parents' consent. They passed some legislation to
Oh
take
my
away
God.
that power.
There's so much that could happen. Pregnant at 16. You guys didn't see that damn show? I mean, give me a break. You really talk about
You know
consent
what's
for that
sad?
age?
You know what's sad, Macho? My daughter being pregnant at 16 would be the least of my concerns in the world we're living in now.
I agree. I agree
And
with you
that's sad.
100%.
And that's the sad
That
part
is
about
sad.
what's going
That
on.
is sad. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Here it is.
Close to what the right wing is describing.
Okay.
I mean, it is amazing because you talk about Alan Dershowitz, who had written a column in the New York Times about how it should be okay to have sex with underage girls, okay? You don't call him a groomer, but you'll call educators who have nothing wrong, just want to create an environment that's welcoming to all students. You'll call them groomers, you'll defame them as some sort of sexual predators, and it's unacceptable. Just being clear about that.
I've never called them groomers. You have the wrong guy. But a teacher that has the kids in kindergarten attend a drag queen story hour to see a guy in a dress dancing erotically in front of them.
Hello.
Those teachers are what we would have called 10 years ago sick.
You're not going to tell me that's not happening, ma'am. You ain't going to tell me that's not happening, because that is multiple reports, not only in Texas, New York, Washington, drag story time with drag. Like it's permeating all over all liberal cities right now. What are we talking about? Yeah, and the thing is, it's the lying for me. It's the lying for me.
They're
Don't
not
tell
lying. They're in
me
denial.
it's denial. Yes, it's denial. Like, oh,
Mhm.
no schools are doing that.
Yes.
And then we are with our receipts. Oh, that's just right wing conspiracy fear mongering tactics.
No, that's just that school. Oh no, that's just that.
Oh, that's
It's
right.
just that one. It's not
Got
all
it.
over. It's
Got it.
not everywhere. It's just
Makes
that
sense.
one. You see what I'm saying? That's how they do it.
There
Well,
it is.
Come on now.
They are depriving children of sexual innocence. And if that's not a sin on the left needs to do a lot of introspection.
I would love for you to apply standards like that to the former president of the United States, who you supported, who you endorsed. You have completely minimized some of the scandals that he was involved in, including paying hush money to adult entertainers. He had cheated on his pregnant wife with. I'm bringing that up because you have this weird standard when it comes to our educators, but no standards when it comes to a person who leads the country, who children look to as a role model. But anyway,
she had to throw that in there, who children look up to, because why? He asked the question, what does this have to do with robbing the innocence of our children?
I'm not gonna lie, see, because I'm ready to slap a bitch.
Okay, here we go.
I'm ready to slap a bitch. So let's be really, 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 really clear right now.
Let's be clear.
When you're talking about adults, I don't care. When we speak about our children, it's a whole new conversation. So when this stupid, sorry excuse for a human being, tries to clump paying off adult film stars hush money, did you hear that term, adult? With the same thing as teachers taking children, 5-year-olds who are extremely impressionable.
Not the same.
To see.
Let them know.
That and she is a product of what is wrong with our society today. Because see, they've blurred all the lines. They've lost the sense of reality. He said it perfectly. You're stripping our children of their innocence. They have forgotten that children are innocent. So they've blurred it all together. They're just human beings. We're all human. No. That's not how this works.
I don't know.
I cannot and I will not stand by and allow people to speak about children as though they know what they're talking about. Okay? I can go get little Henry right now, who's 2 years old, and he barely knows if he wants to eat a banana or a waffle. Okay? But if I look at Henry and I say, no, Henry, you're going to eat this banana, guess what Henry does? He eats the banana.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah. If I say shit enough times, guess who says shit?
Henry.
And then when I look at him, he knows he shouldn't be saying shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, he knows, like, oh, that's a bad word. I shouldn't say it. He knows. You don't even have to tell him it's a bad word. Like, he knows it's not like a normal word that is in like the everyday world. So the amount of influence that we have on children, we mold them. We create these little people to be what we want. And if we strip them of innocence and we hypersexualize them and we make them believe that it's okay to shake their butts and, wear little tank tops and do whatever, guess what's going to happen to those children? We won't have children anymore. We'll have 2-year-olds touching on each other. We'll have 5-year-olds touching on each other. We'll have 6-year-olds having sex. So this mentality in which she should be erased. Stop talking. You don't get to take the president or the ex-president or any grown adult and any indiscretions that they may or may not have had and compare it to exposing our children to adult things.
Right.
Children, adult things. Children, adult things. That is the problem. Period.
Couldn't say it myself. Couldn't say it any better than you right there. That was good.
We only have a few more minutes left.
No. If you throw out a point, you have to allow me to respond.
Okay, go ahead. We're running out of time. We have a hard out, so go ahead.
When I was a child, my father didn't say to me, I want you to look to Lyndon Johnson as a role model. This notion that the president's private life, John F. Kennedy had orgies at the White House. Okay, do you speak about that? I don't care about presidents' private lives, you do. I care about sexualizing children, you don't.
I care about Fighting back against lies.
Gotti! Look at the way she responded. Hold on. She did the proverbial Karen response. I care about kids' lives. Why
That
does she?
part.
Wow, this was a proverbial
Fire.
Karen response.
About that, I don't care about presidents' private lives. You do. I care about sexualizing children. You don't.
I care about fighting back against lies
hear the pitch?
regarding educators
pitch?
sexualizing children.
Yeah.
You heard the pitch? It's like
Yeah.
she's about to cry. She
wasn't ready for that. And you know what? That tells you how ignorant she is. If someone had made that statement to me, job, no job, whatever, I would have stood that down and I would have said, first of all, you will not say that I do not care about the sexualization of children. I would have fought that. I would have took that exact statement and I would have spoke on it. Instead, what she did, like so many liberals do, is they deflect and go the opposite. She missed exactly what he said. And what he said was dangerous. And she couldn't even respond to it. It should have been effortless. If her morals were intact, if her true heart was there, and if she was really about protecting our children, she would have responded to that in a way that they probably would have blacked the screen. You would have seen an anger and a side of her that any normal human being would have
almost
had.
maternal.
Yeah, it would have rose up and she would have been like, hold on, wait a minute. First of all, what you're not going to do is you're not going to tell. You see what I'm like? She would have forgot she was working. She would have forgot she was on TV. You could never say that to me and then me be like, what I'm going to do is I'm upset about lies. Really, bitch?
No, the maternal instinct comes out in a woman. And I think that's what he was trying to get out of her.
That's why
I
you
care about the
right now.
sexual.
That's why I said turn it off because I'm sick and tired of hearing it. But she's proving exactly how evil she is. If you say to me, you don't care about children,
Yeah, it's pretty damn toxic. Actually,
and he said it to her. He said you. He said you.
Well,
You.
that's a good debate tactic is surmise each other's point.
Right,
I
push it
don't
back.
care about the personal life of presidents.
Yes.
You do. And
Yes.
I care about the over-sexualizing of children. You don't.
Right.
So this is our distinct differences right here.
Play that
I'm going
back
to make
really
it clear.
Play that back really quick.
It's that good. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
play
play that
it
back really quick. Just because I want you to watch her response when he says it. Now watch how angry he is when he says it. Watch how much emotion he has behind it. And then watch her response.
Let me get it back here. Hold on.
Because I think it's important
go ahead.
that you listen to the tone of their voice. Look at their body language. Watch how when he says it, he's emotional. He means it.
Yeah.
Because he's like shaking almost like he's losing control. He's angry. So watch him. He's angry. Watch his body language because he's like, really? And then because he recognized how important it is to protect our children. He sees what's going on, right? And he probably is a father. He probably has children of his own. And then watch her response. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I got it. Well, and also it probably comes from a place of his maternal instincts, like in a sense, like he's a parent.
Yes,
right?
That's what I said.
So,
he probably has children of his own.
Yeah, he has 2 kids. He
or
adopted
grandchildren.
one, and he has grandchildren now.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is going to be some anger, especially when it comes to children. People take that personal when it comes to that stuff.
But you should.
And I think he handled that very. I think he handled that very well.
Should have emotion when it comes to the children. Play it.
Orgies at the White House. Okay, do you speak about that? I don't care about presidents' private lives. You do. I care about sexualizing children. You don't.
I care about
watch
fighting back against lies regarding educators' sexual.
And she sounds like a teenager in her response.
Mm-hmm.
He sounds like the adult in the room, and she now has to rebut him just for the sake of rebutting him, instead of saying, like you said, coming alongside. No, I care about the sexualization of children. But the problem is, she will start to agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the problem. And this is where I think the left loses rationality, because how many times did he agree with her at times over this?
Yes.
He said, you're right. I hear what you're saying. I hear, you know what? Let's come to this. Let's come to this.
So remember what I said, right? People want to be right. They don't want to be wrong. And that's why they're not debates.
So the problem
He
with
lit,
yeah,
yeah, he made a hard fact. Not only did he make that hard fact, he said it in anger, and she just cares about lies about educators. Really, bitch.
and he even came at her like, here, an adult's in the room. He came at it almost like a father-like reproach, and he made it very definitive.
He
You
came
care
about it.
about this, I
Yes,
don't,
I don't.
and
Because
made it
it's not
very
important.
clear.
Yeah, it's not important. We don't care. But what
And
we do
just
care
to
about is these
see,
children.
and this was in a bonus clip, really quick. I don't want to commentate on this, but
Okay, go
this
ahead.
is how nasty it gets, even on TikTok. And this is a professional platform, quote unquote,
Go
right?
ahead.
This is Dennis Prager. This is the head guy that runs the Young Turks.
Called Hamas.
So they would
Is that a
elect
fact?
someone you don't agree with, and hence
No,
they
no,
are
they
not
would
allowed
elect
to have
someone-
freedom.
Yes,
What a
they
big
would
advocate of
elect
freedom of
somebody-
speech you are, Dennis. Wow, a shining advocate for freedom who says if you don't elect who I want, you will never be free and you'll be under our thumb and under occupation. You will never have your own country. That's literally what you're saying, Dennis.
No, it's not at all what I'm saying.
You're saying
I'm
if you
that
elect
is-
people I don't want,
if you allow
Hamas
me
in
to
this
say what
case,
I'm saying,
you're
I'll
never
actually
allowed to
say
be
it
free.
again.
So who
Tell
do
me
you
when I
want him
can-
to elect? Dennis Prager as the head of the Palestinian government? Is that
So here's a classic example of how toxic, quote unquote, debates can get with no neutral party to rein in both sides. Hey, hang on. Whatever this guy's name, I can't pronounce this guy's name. Hey, calm down. You're kind of falling off the rails. You're making it personal. You're even saying if only Dennis Prager is elected, or if Dennis, why are you making this personal? Dennis Prager, first off, doesn't live in Israel. This is a conversation about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and we already know. Just seeing off this debate, if you guys want to check it out yourself, this is the epitome of why they're at war, because two sides just can't come to an agreement. Period. I don't favor Israel. I don't favor the Palestinians. I do know that the Palestinians are plagued by a terrorist organization called Hamas. I know that for a fact. This is all over. No one hides it. Not even Al Jazeera hides it. So all I'm saying is Al Jazeera actually is a byproduct of the Hamas group. But anyways, I digress. All I'm saying is this is the epitome, Keisha, of what these quote unquote debates end up looking like on TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not commentary. We're moving on, right?
But that's how toxic it can get. It looks really nasty. I mean, he starts antagonizing, and it's just unnecessary, to say the least. Anyways, as we take a quick pivot here, I want to get into the hip hop scene, and the baby
Yes.
said why he supports Trump, and it's very trivial, but I think it's also it'll come home and it'll leave a lasting impression to a lot of his listeners. This is what the baby said on Full Send.
With Trump or no?
Do I fuck with Trump? Now? Hell yeah.
Oh man. What made you fuck with him?
Trump is a gangster. Nigga like Kodak got.
Yeah.
All right. So Keisha always reminds me how it's very important to use simple logic, simple down to earth rhetoric or language so that everyone could understand. Majority of Americans could understand what he just meant there. He doesn't even have to fully explain it. He just says that, and everybody's going to know whether to take a stand. Oh, I disagree with him, or I agree with him. It's very simple language. He doesn't need to go in and expound on some big idea and say, well, here's why. And then he just keeps it simple. He let Kodak out.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Just like that.
Just like that.
And
Got
Lil,
back in though. What the fuck?
and Lil Wayne.
Nah, he ain't back in.
No?
Kodak ain't home, man. He good. It
Oh.
ain't- A lot of that shit don't be, man. It's just media. Media now we make, media make it look like a fucking dinosaur. Like
That
Yeah.
part.
You see, we
You know
had.
what I'm
Did you
saying?
see
Like,
what we had Trump on this? shit?
Facts.
We had Trump
Facts.
on
That
this.
part.
yeah, see, y'all
You
don't
seen that?
see, so y'all got something going on.
It got taken
It
down.
got deleted in 12
Very
hours.
fast.
Why they do that? Because he's a gangster.
Just that simple. Just that simple.
He is a
Why
gangster.
they? And I love the way he served that. He said, "Why they do that? Why they? He don't want to know the answer.
No.
He's simply gonna sit back on his thought processes. Trump's a gangster. What do you
He's a
think, Keisha?
gangster. I agree. He's a gangster. He is a gangster.
Yeah, there's
Trump
no
is
way
unliked.
around it.
Trump is unliked for the same reasons that I probably am unliked. And I only say myself because I don't care. So when you say what you mean and you mean what you say, it's a hard thing for people to accept.
And they can't get over it.
No. And
They
I mean what I say.
just
Like
can't get over
I'm
it.
gangster in what I say. I don't care. If you don't
Personal.
like me, that's personal. I'm not here for you, right? Like I've done nothing to you personally, but you don't like me. Oh, you don't like what I said, so it must ring true.
That's
No
on you.
problem. Yeah, that's your problem, not mine. Work it out. Let me know how you feel about it.
I'd rather know where you stand than to assume. Like I kept trying to assume, where the hell does Obama stand? Where are you, Obama? Like, where are you? Like, I
Okay,
don't know where
first
you're.
of all, no. Politicians stand with politicians. Be clear. They
Uh-oh.
stand with each other.
Uh-oh.
There's nothing to question. You don't need to question
Talk your
where
shit.
you
Talk
don't
your
need
shit.
you don't need to question that. They stand with each other. Trump was the only person that was not talking about himself or the politicians. He was always talking about the American people. He was always talking about what's in our best interest. He was only working on the relationships that benefit the
What do
United
you got to
States of
lose?
America, right?
Most politicians would never dare say that. What do you got to lose? They would never do it. To this day, not a single politician would ever speak that rhetoric.
We
They
can't
knew.
get
They
our
know.
doggone vice president to answer a question. Are you kidding me?
She
Right
says
now.
the border is secure. The border is secure.
It is
Anyways,
secure.
look at this. This right here. This person right here. This fake political analyst, Ebro.
Okay, let's
This
do it.
dude pisses me off beyond belief.
Okay.
Because
This is good then.
he acts like he knows politics while not knowing politics. He's had Fernando Mateo on his show because Mateo was running for office. This guy is a big time guy. He owns La Marina. He used to own La Marina in the Dykeman in the Heights, whatever. Long story. Anyways, he had Eric Adams on his show. He's
Oh, that
been now.
winner?
Yeah, exactly. He's been diving into politics with Rosenberg here and talking about these things. Why? Because hip hop, everybody knows who are their 99% of their listeners, who are their followers, the black community.
Let's do it.
So this is why I think they like to tap into this to sway the vote, and I think this is more malicious than what politicians could do.
You said Double XL did a list of all the rappers supporting Trump.
Yes.
That have shown public support for Trump. Because trust me, y'all, there's more.
Privately?
Yeah.
And they only thinking about their bank account. And I want to hit you with the button. Congratulations, you played yourself. These rappers for years, they get on their albums and they tell you all they care about is the bag.
And you being provocative and talking about this, you're doing this for the bag.
Anyways.
Like, why is he trying to play people? You want to talk about Trump through other people, vicarious, because talking about him, just saying his name is gonna bring you buzz.
That part.
So who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? If Trump didn't mean nothing to nobody, Ebro would have never mentioned this, man. There's a lot of people Ebro could be talking about. He ain't talking about you if you ain't bringing him any revenue. Period.
That part. Let's do it.
So why is he acting a fool? Like all right, whatever.
Don't feel some type of way when they jump out and support a candidate that's only benefiting their bank account. Please don't act surprised.
Why wouldn't you care about a candidate that benefits your bank account?
You know,
42. The average American is losing $42,000 on annual budget. That means that money means nothing. People are losing money. They're paying more at the pump. They can't buy a house because the interest rates are too high. So if rappers care about their bag, what does that say about their listeners?
Okay.
For goodness
What's interesting about his stupid statement too about that is, why are you in any type of profession if you don't care about the bag, right?
Oh my Lord.
He says it as though that's never been their concern. He says it as though like the bag was never important.
Like Ebro or Ebro's show was never about money. This whole thing that he's doing was never about money.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's an idiot.
And he knows damn well that if his show wasn't generating any kind of numbers, Hot 97 would have been dropped his ass.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
These rappers ain't worried about white supremacy. They don't give a damn.
What?
Yeah,
they don't give a damn about none of that.
They don't even care about COVID.
No.
Name me one rapper that don't care about white supremacy.
Okay, can we just discuss that Busta's playing in the background?
Yeah, very good. And I can't play this too much because of that.
Okay, but Busta's playing in the background.
Busta's playing,
And you're talking about rappers. This is comic relief right now. This guy's an idiot. White supremacist, right?
Ebro is
First
the
of all,
epitome of an idiot. He's
so
the epitome of it.
so guess what? Are you worried about white supremacists like because they're kicking down your door every day? I don't even think about them. You know why I'm not worried about it? Because I got some for that. I got some black supremacists. You want to play with me right now? We're far more powerful today than we ever were before. So why am I worried about you? It's like being worried about like the cat, right? I'm more worried about my dog chasing the squirrel up the tree than anything else because like that's really the thing. What did AJ say?
I'm not.
Exactly.
No. If I want to put this on TikTok, there's no way I could put that on the screen.
That's my boy.
But I agree with him. I 100% agree with him.
Yeah. So like I just think that like their statements in which they're making right now. See, again, this points out how people will make an issue whether it really isn't one, right? Just based on talking points, just based on controversy, just based on something to say, something to do. You really have nothing to add to of greatness or importance. So we're just going to talk about non-relevant things. We're still talking about Trump, but who's
No. It's not non-relevant. Talking about Trump is building a revenue, whether you hate it or you love him. Kanye knows this. When you talk about me on the light that you hate me, you hate my music, think I'm trash. Guess what? You're still talking about me. I win. Bozo.
Well, but
that's what he's saying.
I think the interesting thing about this is that we're talking about points and things in the grand scheme of things are made up and fictitious. They're making an issue where the issue does not lie. So he's talking about rappers. He's talking about Trump. They were rapping about Trump. So why now is a problem? Y'all didn't have a problem when they were rapping about him in their songs. So why now is it a problem? So it's just
ain't nobody, and don't tell me one rapper's not worried of white supremacy when these are people of color who know the history of our country and are now flourishing off what did Lil Wayne says? He says, talk to me about white supremacy. He said, have you seen any of my concerts? Have you seen any of my shows? Do you see who buys my album the most? All I see is a bunch of white people up there singing my damn lyrics. My life matters. He says, right now, somebody's recording me, standing there with a camera, a white man. My life matters. And that goes over everybody's head. Why would that go over everybody's head? Because they're so fixated on other things than what he's actually saying. A black man says what? A police officer saved my life when all my homies left me there to bleed to death.
Yes.
And he's a white officer, and the majority of my revenue are white people, and the majority of people who buy my albums are white. So you can say whatever you want about white supremacy because I'm flourishing off them white dollars. So go right ahead. Next.
And and it's even interesting about that is like when it benefits us, we don't talk about it, right? And then we'll say, "Oh, we don't mean those white people."
Oh.
I mean, not those white people. I'm talking about those other white people, the racist white people, not those white people.
Oh, the same racist white people that buy your albums, listen to your songs. Oh,
well, like that's why the whole big thing about the N-word, right? Then if you don't want them saying it, then don't put it in your music.
I'm waiting for anyone out there to answer AJ's question. Why didn't Wayne have his 40th B-Day party in the hood? Anyone who is watching this show, comment later. Let us know. Answer if you know the answer to this question. All right. So here's why I think it's necessary to have debates. And Pat Ben David on his show answered this question for us, Keisha. Check this out.
Let's do it.
On the Newsom,
go for it.
DeSantis debate. Okay, so for me, I could care less about being at a CNN format. Newsom, here's my suggestion to you. Choose a podcast format, go for 3 hours, okay? And do it this way. You come to us, okay?
There you go.
We will guarantee 3 hours. We'll guarantee minimum $1 million to both just to participate to your campaign. We'll do a super chat. People will be able to call in, all that other stuff. But it shouldn't be 2 minutes. Oh, stop. No, okay. No, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see if Newsom can talk for 10 minutes with an answer, and I want to see if DeSantis can give a long answer. So what do you think about the issues that we're facing? And let it be a different kind of a format. You'll get the money's worth. I wouldn't go to CNN. I wouldn't go to Fox. I would go to a podcast.
All right. So this is why we need real debates, and I love this format. And here's my proposition to all you viewers out there. We were discussing behind the scenes, AJ, Keisha, Mandy, and Mr. Full Service, aka Glenn. We were talking in a private meeting. We were saying we want to have more opposing opinions. But those opposing opinions today, and rightfully so, Keisha, are going to cost us some money. So the proposition for you audience out there watching on replay and currently watching now is donate to the cause or buy a t-shirt and a mug, buy it for someone, and that's how we generate the finances to be able to pay for those differing opinions. Say, hey, we'll offer you X amount of money to come onto the Morning Fix show. We shouldn't be wasting people's time, even though we want to have them on. Genuinely speaking, it'd be nice, but we don't live in that kind of world where, oh yeah, I'll off the strength of my arm, I'll come on and go back toe to toe with you. No, people don't want to do that. People want to get paid to do this. We talked about this during the opening of this show. So my proposition is, if we want more dissenting opinion and not an echo chamber, then support the show, support the cause. Any words you got for that, Keisha?
You know where I stand with that.
I'm sure AJ's got a few words too.
I'm being honest with you. Like, what we're trying to do here, I think is a great thing. It's bigger and greater than us. We have some pretty amazing, loyal listeners, and I
Yes,
truly
we do.
appreciate each and every one of them. But that's nothing great happens without support and help, and that's just the real truth of it.
Hey,
And
Auntie.
and so and so I think that ultimately that's just the nature of the beast. Because I would like to start to open this up and grow it and bring some real amazing and incredible voices on here so we can have some real conversations. Because I want to have the conversation and I want to agree to disagree.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like I do.
I like those conversations too, especially when it comes from a place of being genuine
Yes,
as well.
extremely genuine, but you know, we're losing that. So I mean TikTok, and I think in the world of TikTok, we're not going to find too many genuine people. I will say I do think we should get the handsome liberal on here. I saw him getting attacked by his own, so it would be great to have that conversation with him.
I would love to have him on, and
And
I know you recommended me to go on his live on TikTok, which I will. But I also wanted to have that in the back, be like, hey, Mr. Liberal, if you want to come on,
Well,
just
I
let
know,
me
but
know
just
what
ask him to
your fee
follow
might
you.
be.
Yeah, just ask him. You know, just say, "Hey, I would like to have you on my podcast. Are you interested?" Or my morning show, and just see what he says. I wouldn't interject a fee there. But I also want to have Officer Nate on. I don't know if some people know Officer Nate from TikTok. We just became mutuals. I mean, he only follows like 500 people, and he got fired from being a cop because of what he said on TikTok about LeBron James.
Wow, I would love to have him on too, ask him questions. And mainly what I would want to do here primarily is to have a conversation, not call it a debate. It's going to lead to debating places, but it ain't
Absolutely.
going to be that because why? We don't have a moderator. We don't have the
AJ can
structure.
moderate.
AJ's technically he's biased though in some regard.
No, but we're talking about AJ. You kidding me?
Okay. I would say why don't we get Savory to moderate? Savory is a
Savory
pretty
would.
darn good moderator.
So is AJ. AJ's not biased.
I'm not saying anything about I'm not making it personal
I
about
think
AJ. I'm just saying
Savory would be great, but I also think AJ is very intellectually there. Does that make sense? So like he can play any role in it. There you go. Exactly. He's very good about see, I couldn't moderate because I would be like the one that's like, really? Really? That's
you can't do that.
okay.
You can't do that
Yeah, I
as a
can't do that, right?
moderator.
So I already know I'm not a moderator. Like that's just not my job. But AJ, I think Savory would be fantastic also. Like either one of them can moderate. So I do think we could have a real debate. I do.
Yeah. All right. So we'll definitely try to get the handsome liberal. But for everybody else, as the reprimandum and the proposal that I put out there, if we want to see bigger names, we're probably going to have to offer an asking
You
price.
might want to like
Just putting
run
that
the
out
Cash
there.
App. Where's
Run
that
the
little thing that goes
Wait, what was it? What is?
the little thing that goes across the bottom? Little thing. There it goes. There it is. That part.
All right. What is toxic masculinity? Well,
Oh
this
God.
is what This is what Jordan Peterson was faced with not too long ago. And I love the way he handled this. It was gentle, but it was also pretty good and stern in response.
Hi, Jordan. My question is, what is the antidote towards toxic masculinity?
What precisely, since we're going to pursue this, what precisely is toxic masculinity, as opposed to, say, toxic femininity or toxic humanity? What exactly are you asking me about?
I really want to know what you like, how you would describe toxic masculinity. Because
No, I want you to define what toxic masculinity constitutes. Since we're going to define things so carefully, let's do it.
Well, I think.
Okay, guys, sorry, but we really have to move.
All right. So she immediately comes out of the gate, asks a question, Keisha. What is the antidote to toxic masculinity?
Yeah.
To which now he pushes back and asks, well, what is exactly toxic masculinity if we pursue this?
The problem with toxic masculinity is it's a perception. It's perceived. It's not real.
Well, my argument that I had the other day, and I'm passionate about this, when a man is an actual man today, not a man who is insecure, trying to figure himself out. I don't know what I want. I'm not sure if I want chocolate or vanilla. Oh, I'm not sure if I want to live here or there. I'm not sure what I want to do for my career or this, right? The uncertainty of that. And when you find a man who is like, nope, this is what I want to do. This is the time I'm putting in. This is where I'm going. This is where, are you on or you off? They decipher that as toxic masculinity. When a man decides to say, hey, that's not how we're doing things, that seems to be toxic. When a man wants to court a woman and goes up to the woman and says, hey, I would like to take you up, that's somehow toxic masculinity. How?
Did you just heard what I said, right? It's perception. It's perceived. It's not real.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what real men are. Okay, take it like this. There's a lot of men right now currently calling themselves men, and they can't even keep their own house in check.
Yeah, I've been there.
They can't get their life in order.
Been there.
So in order to be a man and to come into that, you have to not only be able to keep your life in order, you have to be able to keep someone else's life in order and
Tough.
whatever, right?
Very hard. Mhm.
Yes, so it's not an easy thing. I always told my son, being a man will be the hardest job you ever have in your entire life.
100% fact.
But you're never going to be good at it. There's always going to be some shortfall. Somebody's always going to be like, hey, you could have did this or you could have did that. I said, so always recognize as a man, it's going to suck.
Great
It's
point.
a shitty place to be a man. I said, but with that comes, always remember, it is your responsibility to keep people safe, right? So as a man, as my son grew up, I said, guess what, Robert? I said, you think it was bad before? Now you got to keep mom safe. Now you got to keep your sister safe. Now you got to keep your wife safe. Now you got to keep your grandma safe. You see?
Yeah.
Like, so as a man, you start to take on all these roles. So, I mean, obviously I have a brother, so that's there. But being a man is the hardest thing you can be because a man looks different to everyone. And what it is to be a man looks different. But the fact of the matter is men are protectors. They are designed to protect. That's why men have so little emotion, because they have to be able to do things that most humans are not mentally capable of doing. If you really sit back, that's why men always went to war. I mean, think about it, right?
Got to be strategic.
Yes. So when you step back and you say, why is that toxic? Is because people have lost sight on what it means. Like, you should be saying, this is what it is. And we should be saying, okay. People always say, oh, there's always been men presidents, because that's how it's supposed to be. We see how emotional women get. We see how when we get emotional, we don't even know what we're saying anymore. So imagine that leading our country. And that's another reason why women should not be president. See, I'm saying. So I think that's why when you say courting a woman or, this is what it should be, people have forgotten that that's the role of a man. Like right now, if we went outside, right, and there was women and there was men standing around, what's our biggest complaint? Look at all these men standing around doing nothing. They're just standing here. They're not saying nothing. They're not trying to break it up. They're not trying to protect nobody, right? But then when that guy punches somebody in his forehead, oh my God, look at him. Oh, he's being all ridiculous. Why did he have to punch him? Because he's a guy. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to knock the shit out of him. You see what I'm saying? The role is only good when it's convenient. You being toxic is only good when it's convenient, when they need you to be. But that's what men are. The sexiest men are the toughest men. The sexiest men are the men who will work 3 jobs to provide. Those are men. Those are men. And I don't care what anyone says, never
Also
stop
not.
being a man.
They're also not emotional.
You know what? They're not. And and I know they say real men don't cry. I don't think that that's a true statement. I do think that real
I'm not saying that.
but
I'm
they
just
cry for the
saying.
right reason. They're
Yeah.
not worked up about nothing. So you know what? I can say as a woman, I'm strong, but I am very, very weak. Does that make sense? And just because just like Monday, I couldn't come do the show because I was having a whole emotional moment, right? I couldn't get it together, like just emotionally, and I just didn't want to sit here because I'd have been crying the entire time. That's
Mm.
that's what a woman is, right? That's just what we are. When we're dealing with stuff, when we get emotional, it's real. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we as women need to recognize that when I'm weak, my man is strong. When my man is weak, I am strong. And
Mhm.
that's why we need each other because there's this balance. But ultimately, men have it hard. I raised a man. I didn't raise the man that I thought I wanted. No, I raised a man. He has to understand that what his role is in this world.
And do you think
Chivalry.
that when you raised your son, was there parts of your raising that went against your own nature? Like you were
Yes.
like,
Yes.
okay, what
Even now,
specifically was that?
so even now, giving my son the ability to have a voice, right? So when you're raising a child, what as a parent, what's the first thing is like we want to control our children, right? But
Right.
in order to create a man in my son, I had to allow him to have a voice. I had to allow him to interject his opinion in a space that really he had no opinion. But in order to get him to be able to understand how to say, no, this is stupid. This isn't right. We can't do this. I see AJ. Um, this you had to allow that, right? And then you have to say, look, son, this is what the world looks like because he has to work. He has to enter into this world. He has to enter into this world and understand, like, looking at it emotionless. Like my son says to me all the time, Mom, there you go getting emotional. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. He does it to me all the time because I'll be talking to him about something and then I get worked up. He goes, Mom, there you go. You're getting emotional. My son's a beast. If I did nothing right, I did that right. I'm so proud of my son. Like
So you liked that, but you didn't. But at some point when you were nurturing that, you didn't like that you were giving him
n-
that
no,
power,
because
right?
he didn't have any. In my opinion, I'm your mother. Shut up.
Right.
Stop talking.
You have
Right.
you have moral superiority over him. Yeah.
Right. But he has to be able to make decisions, right? He has to be able to
Mhm.
think through the process. He has to be able to be rational because one day he's going to have to make decisions for his own family.
And
Like he has to be able to do that.
do you think that your son and your daughter will ever have moral superiority over you?
No,
Right.
I can
Okay.
call my son right now and I could tell you that. I could show you that. He's
Yeah.
26 years old and he will break for me. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't think that. But the hardest thing about being a mom and loving it is letting my son go. I had to let go of my own son because my son cannot be a man if he's a mama's boy.
Damn right.
So I'm not his first priority. That is hard to say. That is hard to hear. I could cry thinking about it, but I shouldn't be his first priority.
Yeah, it's really
Because I
tough
raised
too,
a man.
and it just shows how much maturity you have too in
Yeah,
your heart, like
yeah,
how
because I
genuine
raised a man, right? So I raised him to do what he's doing, to create his
and
own family and to take care of
and
it.
you raised him with love, not with selfishness, right? Love
Yes.
is like I'm building you up to make you better.
Yes.
Selfishness, I'm building you up to make me better.
Yes,
And
right,
that
and to
is
keep him close to me, so when you raise
yeah,
your sons to be men, you become not their priority, right? So
right.
when they grow up and become independent, all of a sudden, mom is not their priority. My son does not call me every day as much as I can't stand it because he has a life. My son is the product of what I raised. As much as it breaks my heart, he is exactly what I raised, and he's doing exactly what I raised him to do. I couldn't be prouder. But as women, we forget. And what happens is women are raising men to be their not boyfriend that's not there or husband that's not there. We're raising our sons to fill that void.
Right.
And that's not what they're here for. You see?
Mhm.
So that's where we've made a mistake.
And not allowing men to make those hard decisions, like being able to, all right, no, I'm going to make this hard decision, even if it means it's going to hurt all of us in general, or like having that, this. But I think overall, I see a lot of women raising men for them,
Yes.
not
Yes.
for the other way
To be
around.
their
And
void fillers, to be their
Yeah.
emotional support, to be there for them. That's why you get these quote unquote mama's boys.
yeah. And then a lot of times, women who are disgruntled raise disgruntled women too. So when they grow up and become wives, they're so
Right.
resistant towards men, and so like, oh, you ain't gonna run me. You ain't. It's not you. I hear things like you're not gonna manipulate me. When men are not in a game of manipulating, it's called wooing. That's what men do. They're trying to woo their woman and convince them, hey, this is what I think is best for us. The more a woman trusts their man, the more the progression of the relationship it goes. Hey, it may be bad, it may be good, but at least the relationship is going in
But it's
a
bigger
forward
than
direction.
trust. It's bigger than trust. It's security. Women must feel safe.
You have to
You know-
have some security. Yeah.
Yeah, you know when women say we like bad boys, that's why
Mhm.
women like bad boys, because bad boys make you feel safe. The bad boys are cocky. The bad boys are gangster. The bad boys are about it. That's why women like bad boys, right? It's not, we don't really want the bad boy, but who wants to be fighting because their man won't? It's security, safety. Women need to feel safe, period. If you cannot make a woman feel safe when you doing womanly things.
Mm-hmm.
You the bitch. Are you serious right now? What? I'm dead ass. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
raise no bitch. I didn't raise no bitch. I raised a straight up man. My son is gangster. He don't care. He don't care none about your feelings. I have to check him sometimes. I'd be like, Robert, you got to get up off Jasmine's bumper. Like, you coming at her hard. He'd be like, Mom, she tripping. I'd be like, okay, I understand that, son, but she's a girl. Remember, you got two of those. You know how we are. She's all emotional. Oh, okay, well, relax, right? Because he'd be like, no, no,
Jesus.
no. But
A
that's what
hard
he said.
no. It's a hard no.
No.
Mhm.
And he means it. So like he says, if it doesn't matter if you like it, Jasmine. He goes, I said what I said. And he's very honest in the sense of like my son is he's so me, but better. He told her, if you want a bitch like your dad and you want a man you can control, then I'm not that guy.
Right.
You see? He
Right.
tells her that. Like, he regulates that. He said, but you free to leave. Go find the bitch that, like your father, that you can control and you can tell what to do. He goes, but I'm a man and you're not going to tell me what to do in our home.
Right.
This is our home. I'm the head of this, and you're not controlling nothing. You're not dictating. Like, we're going to have this discussion and then I'm going to make the decision. That's the end of it. When I say no, end the discussion. That's right, son.
Do women dethrone men, or do men lose the throne?
Men, first of all, women can't dethrone a man. Be clear. Let's be clear.
All right.
Don't do that to these men out here. Don't do that.
All right.
In the sense that
So here's what the girl did. She started a forest fire, and in between that, she's asking for a friend to help her to define toxic masculinity. Why are you asking about the damn antidote if you don't know how to define it? Anyways, Jordan Peterson, being a G that he is, he entertains it.
Here we go.
someone help me here in the audience.
Okay, so before we move on, let me point something out. That I was willing to undertake this line of discussion, allowing for the possibility that the category of toxic masculinity had some content, right? But if we're going to pursue that line of reasoning and quibble about the answer, then we're certainly going to quibble about the definition that's embedded in the question. And so part of what's happened in our discourse is that we're required ethically to assume a priori merely out of politeness that the utterance toxic masculinity actually constitutes a meaningful phrase. And if you push it, you find very rapidly that it doesn't, because it's very, very, very difficult to define, and definitions actually matter. And so if it's a matter of transgressing against the boundaries of gender appropriate behavior, well, first of all, that indicates that there's something universal and normative about gender appropriate behavior, which is something that people who push the idea of toxic masculinity generally tend not to presume. And second, it's just as likely to happen among women as among men, in which case it's not toxic masculinity. So
this man should have been the prime minister of freaking Canada.
And he's a G. And let me tell you something. Women are far more toxic than men.
Oh, he talks about that. He talks about that.
We're far more toxic. We're dangerous. We're awful. We're awful. We're awful. I know a lot of women won't be honest in that.
Okay, why do you say that? I know not in a sense of what the caricatures are of why women are far more toxic. My point is where I'm going at is why are women leaning more toxic?
Because it's been allowed.
But men can't stop that.
No, because men being toxic is men being mean. You know how
I'm saying men can't stop. You're saying allowed how? Like men can't stop a woman from being toxic.
No, but the behavior is allowed and accepted, right? So when you say a woman is toxic, right, you're essentially saying she's emotional, right? So she's just being emotional. She's just being emotional.
And we shrug it.
And you shrug it off. Like what did he do to her to make her feel like that? It's all about the feeling. But the reality is when a man is having a feeling because I'm treating you crappy, right? Because I'm being disrespectful to you, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to react to that. You are just supposed to take it on the chin. That's the difference between it. That's why women are more toxic than men. So you're just right now what we see is a bunch of angry men running around with all their emotions suppressed because everyone told them they couldn't say anything or react to anything.
Right. And then now they're trying to unwrite that and say, no, it's okay for you to cry and to feel and talk about your feelings. And I was just listening to Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum. He said, there ain't no damn way I'm just going to feel in front of my wife. He says, I go somewhere where I want to feel. I show my wife that I'm strong because she needs someone strong to lean on. He says, I'm not stoic. I have feelings. But I don't like lean on her with my feelings. I go and I feel and I have my moment, I have my time, and I come back home and I be a strong man that she needs.
I agree with that. But you see his thought process? What's his thought process? To protect my wife.
That's his initial, yes.
To make her feel secure. He doesn't do that for himself. He does it for his wife. That's a man.
That's love too, by the way. Because why would I know I'm agreeing with you, but again, he's doing something for her and also for himself. It's not just selfishness. He wants to go home and make her feel secure. But if he's in emotional disarray, what's that going to say to her? I can't be secure.
You see what you're doing right now? Did you see what you just did right now?
What did I do?
You explain that like a man. You said he's not being selfish.
He's not.
Okay. I never said he was. He is completely 100% selfless. The reason he is selfless is because everything he did was to protect his wife. It wasn't about him.
No.
It was about her. But as a man, you felt the need to say he's not selfish because men are always made out to be selfish.
Yes.
Always. Men are selfish. So he is doing what a man is supposed to do. Men, they always say be selfless. Men have to be the most selfless. Men, because if you're not selfless, you're a bad man. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. It's beyond love. It's beyond love. He knows what his role is as a man to his wife. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Protect her. What did I say? Men are protectors. That's what I said in the very beginning. Men are protectors. That right there is a man. Let's be clear.
And we should be.
Yeah, he goes and he does what he needs to do because he doesn't want to show weakness to his wife. So she always feels safe. She always feels secure. He could.
So
I'm sure he could show her that emotional, vulnerable moment, and it wouldn't even phase her. But he thinks beyond that. Just to be safe, let me go have this moment breakdown over here, and then I'm gonna come back and be that man for my wife.
what do you say to a woman or to a man when a woman feels something, when she feels, let's say she feels hurt by something,
Mhm.
and it may not be rooted in rationality, which what you're arguing is normally it is, right? It's not rooted in rational behavior.
Correct.
What do you say to the man that reacts to that?
Don't.
That utilizes that protection now and automatically says, I'm gonna protect her now. Who's gonna get it now? Because her emotions are hurt.
Well, most men don't react in emotion, right? So most of your energy is exerted on your partner, right? Like, babe, I got you. It's fine. Relax, calm down, talk to me, right? I think situations need to be addressed, but a lot of times we as women make things worse than they are. So so shut up.
Facts.
So we have to be walked off a ledge. And good men are able to shut up, listen, let the woman lose her complete mind, say
Go ahead.
nothing, have no reaction. Because a lot of times it's not even personal. A lot of times women are like venting, they're just talking. And it seems like it's like, damn, she's coming for me. But it's not even about you. So if you just remove yourself and just listen, then you could be like, Okay, you done?" And she's like, "Yeah." You're like, "Okay, all right, well, let's talk about it. Calm down, because you went a lot of places with that. You was
I've
all over with that."
I've
You know what
seen
I'm saying?
instances with women, single moms,
Mhm.
have issues with the person that they had the child with.
Mhm.
I've heard them vent, let it all out, and I said, "Okay, you done? Because you ain't gonna vomit on the person you're not with. There's
Mhm.
no need for you to ever have that conversation with that person. Oh no, I need to let him. No, you don't need to let him know nothing
Mhm.
because none of that pertains to that person because that person is no longer bonded to you and you're no longer bonded to that person.
Correct.
So the frustration that I have for single moms out there, and I feel like they do a great job. This is no dig, this is no shot, but the frustration I have is the what the other person should be doing. I got no time to be worrying about what another person should be doing.
Okay, so let's have that conversation, right? So, generally, when you have that problem, it's because they haven't let go of the other person. So my ex-husband, my kid's father, when we were divorced, we had the best relationship after we were divorced because I didn't have to
Why?
deal with none of his nonsense. There was nothing to fight about. Everything that we fought about, we weren't together anymore. So what is there to fight about? So there was always this mutual respectful understanding that we're family forever. We share these two children. They're going to be grandkids. Until we leave this earth on our last breath, we got to deal with each other. And that's just my mature mentality that I took about it. I had no hard feelings because I didn't have to deal with him on a daily basis. We have the best relationship. He calls to check on me. Okay. Like he doesn't even need to call me.
And do
Our
you
kids are
think it's
adults.
because there's no animus that you're not telling
Huh.
him what he should be doing and he's not
What
telling
should
you what
he
you
be
should be
doing?
doing?
What should he be doing? My standard of parenting? He has 2 kids that can tell him what he should be doing. So if he's not being a if when my kids were small, if he wasn't being a father, they could communicate that to him. What do I need to tell him? What I think he should be doing is irrelevant. I'm not the kid.
And
That part.
do you think that that gets misconstrued? Do you think the
Yes.
lines get blurred? Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yes. Like,
all right.
here's the problem. You know why? When you don't like a person, when you hate a person after a bad breakup, divorce, whatever, what's the first thing you do? You use the children as pawn. So I can't hurt you because I'm not with you anymore. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hurt you with these children. You're a shitty dad. You're a shitty mom. You need to be there more for your kids. Meanwhile, the person that's saying that is usually the person that's in the streets partying. Is usually not a great parent. Is the same parent that's talking shit about the other parent to their kid. That is the crappy parent. That's the crappy parent. Why do you know what my theory is? Why do I need to tell my kids anything negative about their father? If their father's not a good
I
father,
remember
they're gonna grow up and realize that they have a shitty daddy.
I remember seeing and I don't know where I still sit with this, but part of me agrees with this. I heard Jesse Lee Peterson talk to a person on the phone. He took a call in on his show and the kid was a young man. He said, But what do you say to the fathers that weren't around? Like my dad wasn't around. He said, your mom put him to hell. That's why he wasn't around. He was like, wait, that was his choice, not hers. He's like, son, you don't understand because you're not supposed to understand this.
Okay, well,
And
I
he
don't know
just
that I'd
walked.
agree with that.
I'm not saying I part of me agrees with it because if you have a very dysfunctional connection or discussion, if the non-custodial parent is like, look, I don't want to fight. Tell me what's going on, whatever, let's get to it. Let's keep this amicable. But then turns to a fight. But then turns to how you didn't do enough. Then turns to how you ain't giving enough.
Okay, so
Then
here.
turns to this.
No.
Now, how does that other person want to deal with that?
You're equating a father not being there to a relationship. So let's put the blame back where it belongs. Women need to make better choices about who they lay down with and allow to leave their seed. Let's just be clear. If you see a man who wasn't there for his other children, what makes you think he'll be there for yours? If you walk into a bar and meet Bob and you don't know Bob's last name and you go home and you have unprotected sex with Bob, how's Bob going to be there when Bob doesn't even know he has a kid? So let's keep it 100. Okay. Women, we, the birth givers, the carrier of life, we need to make better decisions about who we make babies with. Because see, without us, they're not going to get here. So don't allow anything and everything to leave their seed in the garden. Period.
Yeah, I don't think it's as random as that. The reason why
No,
I
it
say
is that. No, you know why? Because if you don't like, trust me, Macho. Everyone who, like, I could look back in my marriage to my kid's father. We were together for over 20 years. Okay, I can look back at that and see that we probably shouldn't have had Andrea.
Jesus, Andrea, don't watch this show.
No, I'm saying like if I think about like the state of our relationship and the state of our marriage, even after Robert, we probably shouldn't have had Andrea. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like she was brought into this like perfectly loving situation. She was conceived in love. Absolutely. That's my baby. But that marriage was destined to fail because we did not have the tools that we needed to make it succeed. Now that we're older and mature, we could probably remarry and have a great marriage. Does that make sense? So
Well, then why didn't you fix it then?
because we didn't have the tools. We were too immature. We were too selfish. It was more
You
about
learned that, but how do you figure that out 20 years into the marriage that you're immature?
because we were young when we got together, right?
Okay.
And at 48, looking back, right? I mean, we've been divorced many, many, many years. So at 48, looking back, you can say, "Damn, bitch, you was tripping."
Hindsight is 2020.
Right. Like, and I'm talking about myself. I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about me. Like, bitch, you was
But how do
tripping.
you get to a place where you say you was tripping and not point the finger? How did you get there?
I went to counseling for 10 years.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I went to counseling for 10 consecutive years, and it took me no lie, it took 9 years and 9.5 years to figure out I'm just an asshole. I'm an atomic something. I am not always a nice person, and the things that I say could cut like a knife. So when I look back on that relationship, there were times that I did and said things that would have pushed anyone away. Does that make sense?
Right.
So not
Right.
that he was perfect in the relationship, by no means. Okay. And I'm not here to bash my kid's father because guess what? He is the father of my children. I will always care about him. He gave me the most amazing things in my life, and I can never hate him for that. He is their father. That was the choice that I made. But I am far from perfect. And I'm going to say this, not all relationships fail because both people are bad, but 9 times out of 10, we contributed to the failure of that relationship. Whether it was picking a person that we knew wasn't good for us, whether it was trying to change a person that we knew we couldn't change, whatever the scenario is, you played a part in the breakdown of that relationship, period.
Yeah, for sure. And
So-
if you're gonna play the part in the relationship and why it ends, don't play the part in the relationship if you have kids to why the other person doesn't want to be around.
Exactly. Yes.
There's some validity to that is what I'm saying, Keisha. Like
There is. There isn't, not in every situation, but yes, there is.
no, but don't be hell, right? Don't just
Yes.
like come in and this is not what a parent's supposed to do. You can't be like, can you take a whole? We just got out of something that was very bad and we don't need to keep going into this
That's a
now. We
them
don't need to
problem, not a you
drag the.
problem,
Yeah,
right?
we don't need to
That's
drag
them.
this to the child now. Now the child is reacting. This is a whole mess.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's sometimes I when I listen to men's stories, because I for one fall in that category, but when
Mhm.
I've listened to other men, not just me, and wallow in my own madness, it's listening to other men to realize, like, damn, what the hell? Why the hell? Anyways,
I hear you. I hear you, and I think it's really important that we validate that. Again, women are toxic and we're evil and we're mean. And when we've been, scorned, nothing like a woman
And
scorned.
I'll tell you one thing though, Keisha, and women could be so dangerous to the point where they turn men against another man. There was a
Yes.
TikTok I found
Yeah.
that she said, "Oh, we're talking all this mess about outside of the hood, but don't realize that when somebody goes after so and so or goes after them, they go to their son and say, 'Oh, so and so just came at me.' And
Mhm.
then now my son went and handled this, and now it's a back and forth beat. Now
Yes.
somebody died over it. So
Yes.
so she was saying most of the violence in the hood is because of a woman.
Woo!
That's what she was
Well,
saying. And I was like,
I
wow, this
wouldn't
is
go that far now.
this is incredible. I wouldn't say all of it. She was saying that, in that anecdotal experience that she witnessed, oh, you gonna let him attack me? Or you gonna let him talk to me like that? Or you gonna and now you bring in, that whole clash.
Again, but
I
guess
for
what?
one
If you are a man, it is your responsibility to look at the woman who's acting crazy and say, "I
go
hear
sit down.
you.
Mhm.
Have a seat. Be quiet. We're not going in the street to fight because Jerome said your hair was nappy.
Yeah, sit down.
Be quiet.
I'll talk to Jerome, but we ain't
I'll
gonna do
handle
this
it."
like a we ain't
Yes.
gonna yeah, we're men out here. And I've had instances like that where I've been told, oh, this, that, and the third. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down. Why? Because I know how dangerous men can get when they hear an inkling that something is coming into their circle of protection, they
Yes.
start to feel this feeling that they have to take guard. But you also have to be
Testosterone.
strategic. You got to be strategic. Anyways, here's how I want to wrap up the show. I want to wrap up the show with this one right here. This is for everybody who doesn't recognize. This is Liz Cheney. Liz
Oh,
Cheney
that
had a
her?
thing or two to say. Yep. She had a thing or two to say about what her endeavors are and what is her mission and vision for this part and point of her life right here.
To be a society where we're tearing each other apart. That's what our adversaries want us to be doing.
Right.
Think about the fact that what the leaders of the Chinese Communist Party say about American democracy. They say our elections they don't work, they don't reflect the will.
Here's an American former politician telling us about what another country's saying about our politics. I don't give a damn what another country's saying about us. I want to know what you say about us, number one. Number two, it all matters about what we, the people, say about our democracy, not about you. So get out of here with the you and China, and I don't even give a damn whatever the hell else analogies you want to present.
Will of the people. Those are the same things Donald Trump says about our democratic process.
Oh, God.
And we have an obligation to make sure, and I certainly will do whatever it takes to make sure Donald Trump isn't anywhere close to the Oval Office again.
All right. Okay. I'm going to make this very, very clear to everybody out here. Anytime a politician says, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen, they've already subverted the will of the people, which in fact, they're the threat to democracy. So they're sitting there talking about they're on the sides of the heavens, on the side of the angels to protect our quote unquote democracy. And then they're going to go against the will of the people. If the people say, how about this, Liz? How about if it's 100 million people, which would be the most in history, decided to vote for Donald Trump? What are you going to do about it? You're going to support it as kicking and screaming. You're going to be like, this is the will of the people. And that is what the democracy they're protecting. I can't stand this. This is ridiculous.
Macho, what did I say before? The politicians are
Mm.
about the politicians. They're not about us.
Well, this is where it stops becoming about the politicians, and she
Mm.
has this sick derangement where she feels like she's on the side of the heavens, Keisha, and that she has to make sure freaking Donald Trump is nowhere near the Oval Office. Who the hell cares?
That
We
part.
got freaking we have Joe Biden at the Oval Office, and she's more terrified of Donald Trump. The guy can't even form a sentence sometimes.
That's the problem. They're delusional. They're more concerned about what's popular and what the people are fighting about than they are about the reality of what's really going on, that we have a dementia-ridden fool and his hackling hyena in the White House.
The border is secure, and he goes, she was 12 and I was 30. We did a
That
lot
part.
together. Listen, you're worried about Donald Trump. Believe me, listen, I don't care if listen, I would care, but I don't care if AOC is in office. At the point of the matter, if the people voted for her, if they're dumb enough to vote for her, then it is what it is. Kicking and screaming, she'll be the president. Kicking
Ooh,
and screaming.
tomorrow's going to be a great show because we only got through like 2 bullet points.
We did. We got a lot more to cover. I mean, we really expounded on this stuff. So tomorrow should be good. We'll be back here on the Morning Fix Live radio show. It has been a pleasure. Please share the channel, like the channel, talk about the channel with everybody. Until tomorrow, we'll see you right back here. Peace.